I talked about all that. Summary of water types. Okay, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that it might be nice to use fairly pure water. So if you did have to use water from the general water supply, it might be okay to boil it first, but I have a Brita water filter, so I use that, then I put it in here and warm it up on the stove. Bottled water is okay, distilled water is okay. Just the purer the water, the better. Simple enough. Water quantity. This is kind of important because depending on the amount of salt you have in here, if you have the right amount of salt, it doesn't sting. If you don't, it feels like when you're swimming when you're a kid and you got water up your nose, or even maybe when you're an adult. But what you do is, here, I'll put this up here too, just in case it comes through where you're at. But 500 mils of water is 1 level teaspoon, so I use a teaspoon right here. And that's half a liter. And I guess this is almost half a liter if you take it. It says that 2 average coffee cups are equal to that in 1 level teaspoon. Now that is actually a lot to do. And so if you're using something like this, you might have to cut down on that. Like if it was 1 cup of coffee, it would be half a teaspoon. This thing actually says it's 450 milliliters, so it's 1 teaspoon. So I have actually learned to do it halfway and then do half a teaspoon. Alright. Now comes the instructions for getting the flow. And you kind of have to experiment with this when you figure out any or little thing if you don't have a neti pot. Or you can go to the health food store and just buy one of these. I can tell you right now, and you'll never be sorry if you go through with this. But there's, in summary, 2 stages apparently. And the second stage is something that not a lot of people are going to do or try right away until they get good at it. But the first stage is when you pour this through your nose, and it just goes through your nasal cavity and comes down, basically. There are also other tubes going to other places that it doesn't really get into. Now, stage 2 would be after you do a good stage 1, get everything clear, and know that you have it all clean in there. Then you gently inhale as it's going through, and I guess it kind of goes back into your tubes a little bit, and then it flushes out those too. Now, I haven't tried that. I'm not an expert at that. I don't even know if I will try it, so I don't recommend trying it. But I do recommend just breathing through your mouth. That's basically what you do. You breathe through your mouth, and you can actually see a lot of other videos on YouTube. I thought it was important to get some information out about the book. So, kind of told you how to do it, which you will have a lot of mucus in there, and it does mention how the warm water, if you keep it going through, will finally get it out. And I have found that I have never breathed better. In fact, I started doing yoga about a year ago, and a year ago when I went to the classes, I just did it for a month, and I had to breathe a lot through my mouth because I just couldn't get enough through my nose, even though air did go through my nose. Well, now what I've realized is I do this, I'm doing another month of yoga right now, and I've realized that it's a great thing to do before yoga. I mean, it cleans everything out, and all of a sudden, all this air can come in. It's pretty cool. Now, one really important thing that I realized was this: if you just try doing this and then start walking around, you might have missed an important step, and that is trying to dry out your nostrils a little bit. And there's a couple things. After you do it, you kind of want to lean forward, let it drain out. I've actually put some tissue up in my nose a little bit to keep it, or to get the water to drop down into. But it's very important to breathe through your mouth and through your nose, and they stress not to blow your nose when you have a bunch of water in there, because then it could make the water go up the little other pipes that you really don't want it in right now unless you're going for the stage 2. So if you can understand that, you don't want to blow your nose hard. You just want to breathe gently in and out, and then they say through one nostril, through the other nostril 5 times or something like that. One interesting note is that I did this before yoga class, and I did a full pot of it. And it was about a half hour later in the yoga class, and then I tipped over the whole way, and all of a sudden, and I was actually standing, tipped over, but my head became completely upside down. All of a sudden, water started right out of my nose, so I realized how important it is, after you do it, to lean forward, and not only that, stand straight up and bend all the way forward so your head goes down for about 10 seconds or so to make sure if anything did get in other places, it goes out. I think I've covered pretty much everything that I thought would be important to impart to anyone. Again, it is pharmaceutical grade salt, or sea salt, I believe it said. Something that's fairly pure without chemicals in it. And fairly pure water. Make something where you can warm it up. Like if I put some bit of water in here, I just warmed it up in the sink with some warm water just sitting in there. And tilt your head forward. You'll feel it filling up and going out the other side. It says that if it doesn't go right away, just kind of keep the pressure there for even a couple minutes, and finally it might start to flow. And then that's when it starts to clean out everything in that. It's been an amazing experience for me. You're not supposed to say anything can cure the cold or anything without FDA approval. So I'm not saying this can cure the cold, but I can say this cured the cold for me, and it is amazing. I tried to keep this short. I know I rambled a little bit. Hopefully you'll have a great day. Bye.